The Michigan Football Report is presented by Roan. Folks, I am rocking a Roan shirt. I'll tell you a little bit more about them a little later in the show. It's RHONE.com. Use the promo code CHAT for 20% off your entire order. You are watching the Michigan Football Report. I am your host, James Yoder of Chat Sports. We are going to dive into quite a few things today. We've got a few mailbag questions, a couple other Michigan football nuggets of information that you're going to want here on a Thursday, bye-week Thursday, but that doesn't mean the information stops from this show or from the folks who make the sports betting lines, because late last night, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw this about 1:30 in the morning last night, the First Sportsbook put out a line for Michigan State next Saturday night under the lights at the Big House. And folks, I was shocked. I know Michigan State has had trouble, lost 4 straight games. 23.5-point favorites. That is absurd. I guess Michigan deserves it in some regards because they've won, every game, total by the average of like 28 points, 30 points, something like that. But that's very slanted because of the Hawaii game, the Colorado State game, and the UConn game. But nevertheless, 23.5 points. That is 4 scores that Michigan is favored over the Michigan State team that has beat them the last 2 years. We have some mailbag questions coming from our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/HarbaughGoBlue. Doug Bader says, it'll be a boring weekend without football. Then I have to work next Saturday night and miss the game. Doug, really sorry about that. Sign up for a free trial on YouTube TV. Kind of grab your iPhone, whatever, Android. Just going to watch on the down low if you're able to. But hopefully Michigan is up by 2-3 scores. You won't have to worry about it early on. Then you can watch the game later on after you get away from work. But with Doug saying, no game this weekend, I'll ask you guys this question. What are your plans this weekend with no Michigan game? I want to see if we can get a little chatter, see what people are doing in the comments for what is happening this Saturday. No Michigan football game, the first time in of the 2022 season, the only bye week. We won't have another one of these until like December 10th, right? The weekend after the Big Ten championship game. Wink, wink, until the college football playoff. So with no Michigan game, what to do? Let me know what you guys are doing down in the comments. Obviously, you can watch some more college football game. You can spend time with your family and friends if you want to. I'll be spending time with my family and friends because today, the 20th, is actually my son Preston's birthday. It is his 6th birthday. This photo is from his day of school prior to, I think last year we went on a vacation, so he wasn't actually there for his birthday. But this is a day or two before his 5th birthday last year, so it's a year old, but nevertheless, I thought it was a pretty cute picture of him wearing a jean jacket and posing for his 5th birthday picture. So today's his birthday. We're going to have a birthday dinner, got some family. His aunt, actually, it's her birthday too. Crazy luck of the draw there. But I want to make sure you guys, when I meet him for birthday later, I'll show him this video and show him the comments if you can. Type HBD Preston. Hell, type happy birthday if you want to go to the extra mile. HBD means happy birthday if you didn't know that. Wish my son Preston a happy 6th birthday down in the comments. He is the future host of the show. I'm not sure if it'll be in a few years or another couple decades, but he will take over the show one day. So, get used to him and get used to that face taking over for me at some point in the history of this program. We have been getting destroyed by the trolls, both the upcoming opponent and the most recent opponent. Penn State fans, Iowa fans, Maryland fans, just ravaging our comments, saying Michigan sucks, all that. So considering going subscriber only to the Ohio State game if it continues. So make sure, if you're currently watching, and if you're seeing this, you have to be currently watching, go ahead and make sure you subscribe, because if we go subscriber only, that means you're going to be locked out until the Ohio State game. I can handle their fans, but some of these other ones, Michigan State fans, are getting a little too much. So make sure you subscribe so you're not left out for the fun over the next 6 weeks until the Michigan-Ohio State game on November 26th. Penn State coach James Franklin is such a whiner. I wanted to address this earlier in the week, but it just had different topics to talk about. So now we're in a Thursday, heading into a bye weekend. There's a little bit of a gap in the content calendar, so we'll address it right now. This is a student writer for Penn State. Oddly enough, his profile photo is him standing on Saturday at midfield at Michigan before the game. Nevertheless, he said about Michigan's one tunnel, right? We need to put a policy in place to stop this, referencing the confrontation at half between Penn State and Michigan. Well, James Franklin, you whiner, okay? You're doing a disservice to the name James. What needs to happen, in my opinion, for you is get your damn team in the locker room and quit having them out there throwing peanut butter and jelly sandwich at Michigan staffers is what we have told has happened. So, Franklin, Big time whiner. I don't necessarily think that this is a big deal. I don't think Michigan should change anything they are doing, but James Franklin is now calling for the Big Ten to have some sort of different policy, either different tunnels or have one team have to go in, the other team completely wait outside for 3-4 minutes until the other team is in the locker room, and then switch, referencing the Ohio State game last year at halftime, referencing this Penn State-Michigan kind of mini dust-up before before halftime on Saturday. Carl Cordova says, is Michigan holding back our playbook? I think I've heard JJ battling a shoulder issue. Is that holding us back? It's time to think. Is it time to think about another Joe Moore Award? So there's a few questions there that we will dive into in a second from Carl. But before we do, folks, I had to go to a meeting earlier today. I'm looking a little formal. I'm gonna just, I got this Michigan coat, by the way, pretty cool coat, inside line. I'm gonna take this bad boy off, right? Because I am wearing the commuter shirt by Roan. I can go from a business meeting, I can go from anything I want where I'm looking formal. Wear the commuter shirt. I can come right into work. Roll up my sleeves. I can go get drinks with the guys afterwards. I can go to my son Preston's birthday dinner right after this. Have no problem at all because I am wearing the commuter shirt from Roan. The dress shirt needed a drastic revitalization. Roan did that. They reinvented the dress shirt, right? This thing is stretchy. It feels great. It can be worn with a suit. It can be worn out to a restaurant or a bar out with friends. It can be worn to a football game if you want, or worn here on the Michigan Football Report. Roan is supplying the clothes today, and they are our presenting sponsor. Make sure you go support Roan. Support yourself. If you ever have to wear a dress shirt, I highly recommend Roan because this thing is so comfortable. It's not even funny. We all know the pains of dress shirts, right? They're too baggy. They don't fit right. You have to iron them. They get you sweat a little bit and the shirt is completely ruined. Not this shirt from Roan. It is like almost wearing athletic wear as a dress shirt. I just love the stretchiness. Jack, don't you like these Roan shirts? Pretty damn awesome Roan shirts. And I hate changing clothes from different activities. Come home from work, got to switch from a t-shirt into a dress shirt or vice versa, anything like that. Roan solves that problem for you. RHONE. Go to roan.com/chat. Get 20% off. Buy a shirt for a friend if you want to, a parent. Ladies watching the show, get a shirt for your guy. Make sure he's looking sharp this holiday season. RHONE.com/chat. The link is down in the comments and the description of today's video. So Michigan's running schemes, whatever you want to call it, have started to come into fruition the way I think Jim Harbaugh has always wanted to run them. And I did a bunch of film review, and I saw a bunch of other websites like The Athletic and a couple blogs, etc. Did a few breakdowns of Michigan's running schemes from last year and earlier this year to this Penn State game where Michigan ran for 418 yards. And frankly, they are mesmerizing. So I want to put this one up. This is the one that caught my eye most notably because with the way Michigan is using J.J. McCarthy, I think is tremendous. So you see right here, right? This is Blake Corum right here. He has got the ball, right? He's about to run for a 60-plus yard touchdown. This guy right here, this is the last line of defense. This is the cornerback, right? But do you see what he's doing here? He's looking at Blake Corum this way, but his feet are going here towards J.J. McCarthy. Where is he at? Right there, J.J. McCarthy. I'm kind of on the weatherman thing here. That's J.J. McCarthy, right? They did a read option. The cornerback was completely mesmerized. And then what happens, right? This guy's 2 steps late to stop Blake Corum from going in the end zone. Had he not held the corner and waited for J.J. McCarthy to pull that ball back, Blake Corum would have been tackled for a 12, 15, 18-yard gain. It wouldn't have gone 60-plus. Do you see this? This guy is trying to change motion, full speed, and go back the other way to catch Blake Corum, one of the fastest guys in the country, all because he is identifying J.J. McCarthy here as a potential threat running the ball. There was a ton of that. Go watch what Michigan did running the ball. Watch when they hand the ball off from the shotgun, what J.J. McCarthy does, especially when they ran motion where a guy kind of comes across the line, pre-snap motion. And watch the defenders, right? Watch the linebackers, watch the safeties, watch the corners. They are so scared about the misdirection or the quarterback keep that is actually the real secret sauce here, right? You got Blake Corum going for the touchdown, and it's going to continue. And what this is doing, it is just putting things in the minds of the next 5 opponents leading up to the Ohio State game that, look, J.J. McCarthy's a threat, and if you don't account for him, he's going to do this, 15 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards, get first downs on 3rd and 7, etc. And if, you got to identify him. But if he doesn't get it and your guys are too identifying J.J. McCarthy, you got Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards going for 60 yards on back-to-back runs to put this game, pretty much out of grasp for Penn State, an offense that could do nothing against this Michigan defense on Saturday. My guy, Chris Radum, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Chris, I apologize if not. He says, why does Michigan year after year refuse to call creative plays in the red zone? And I am right with you. I think that there are a couple weaknesses right now that I'll talk about here in a second on this team. Red zone play calling is one of them. And then he says this. He tweets a picture at me. He says, seriously, why is this formation and this play even in the playbook? Would any elite offense do this? It's just communication to the world. I don't care about scoring. I just care about running. Pretty good point here. Take a look at this formation, right? This is in the second quarter. Michigan's trying to score a touchdown to go up, 20-14 before half. They had to settle for a field goal here. What does it say, Jack? 3rd and 2, is that right? 3rd and 2. I'm a little blind. Can't see across the room to where that photo is. But they get 3 tight ends right there, right? Look at the right side of the screen over there. There's 3 tight ends, or your left, my right. 3 tight ends on the formation. J.J. McCarthy was going under center. Blake Corum behind him. Who is that stopping? You're bunching 11 defenders right in about like a 20-foot range, right? The football field's 53 inches wide. I totally agree, and there's so many instances of this that we've seen. Michigan settled for 4 field goals from Jake Moody in the red zone. That's not going to cut it against Ohio State. Remember last year, Michigan scored 42 points against Ohio State, 6 for 6, I believe. Maybe it was 6 of 7, but all 6 of those were runs in the red zone. 4 touchdowns, 5 by Hassan Haskins, 1 by A.J. Henning. That is great, but Michigan needs to figure out how to pass the ball in the red zone. So if you, like me, are frustrated with the play calling in the red zone, go ahead and comment yes. If you're not, you're cool with field goals, basically, 50% of the time or more in the red zone against good teams, against elite-ish defense like Penn State, type no. Cool, that's fine with me. But give me some yeses down there. I'm going to screenshot all the yeses. I'm going to email them to Jim Harbaugh. I'm going to print them out. I'm going to fax them to Jim Harbaugh if I have to. But Michigan needs to come up with a passing game in the red zone that can actually score points. Red zone play calling and linebacker. These are the only 2 weaknesses that I've seen this season. With no opponent this weekend, I've had a chance to spend some time going back to all the games, the 7 games so far, kind of take a look at what Michigan's doing well, where are they improving week after week, where are they either not getting better or regressing. I think the linebackers might be regressing a little bit, right? Junior Colson, he's been picked on a lot in the passing game, and then the red zone offense has not gotten better, and it's specifically not gotten better from my passing perspective. They're certainly able to run, right? But when you get against a team that has just as good of athletes as you, like Ohio State will in a few weeks, hell, maybe even Illinois will, the second to last game of the regular season, Michigan's going to need to be able to pass downfield. We've seen it from Harbaugh teams in the past. I just don't understand why this team is not doing it yet. Drunken Sam Webb, not sure if this is a verified account or not, but he says, why is Michigan not being talked about being ranked number 1 in the polls? Pretty interesting question, and it kind of coincides with the video I happened to see a day or 2 ago. ESPN college football analyst, what's his name again? Greg McElroy, yeah, so across the bottom of the screen. He does his weekly rankings on his YouTube show. It's also on TV. They put it on YouTube. And he ranked Tennessee number 2. Michigan number 1. And why is Michigan number 1? We said, well, they were the most dominant team against the, little sisters of the poor kind of teams, Hawaii, UConn, etc. And then they've just gone 4 straight weeks, including 2 road games, of dominating Big Ten opponents. Despite Maryland being a 7-point game, that was really a 14 or 20-point win for Michigan, but Maryland, stuffed a score in there towards the end. He said Michigan's been the most dominant. They've got a top 10 offense. They've got a top 10 defense. They've got the best running game in college football, and they haven't even revealed the passing game that they could potentially roll out if they need to get in a shootout against Ohio State or further down the line. So Michigan's getting a little love, but I do agree that they are not getting enough love from the actual pollsters, McElroy not being one of them. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks when the first college football playoff rankings come out. But 60-some-odd votes in the coaches poll, 60-some-odd votes in the AP poll, no first-place votes for Michigan. It's Georgia, it's Tennessee, it's Ohio State getting all of those votes. Rivalry week, it's a tough word to say, coming up in 9 days, or I guess rivalry week is next week, but game, Ohio State is at the end of the season. Michigan has Michigan State coming up on next Saturday night. Which rival do you hate more? I am surprised by how many people in the state of Michigan choose Michigan State. For me, it's Ohio State. But let's get the battles going amongst the Michigan fan base. Which rival and why do you hate the most? OSU or MSU? Get going down in the comments. Kamir224 says, any injury updates? Any chance for Eric All, Nikhai Hill-Green, Trente Jones? Will they be back for the Buckeyes game? Any chance of, coaches getting interest from other programs? So I won't really address the coaches getting interest because it's really tough to say right now. Anything that happens is very, very back channel. None of the Michigan coaches, to my knowledge, are getting any interest in head coaching opportunities, although I think Sherrone Moore might be next up on that list. But here's the injury update. Got 3 for you. Eric All is not going to play this year. I have not heard whether or not he's got surgery on his back, which was recommended by at least one doctor. I think he's gotten multiple opinions on that. Nikhai Hill-Green, look, soft tissue injury. I'm not going to speculate further, but it is trending that way. A starting linebacker, 7 games in, hasn't had season-ending surgery, hasn't torn an ACL, still hasn't played. It's trending that way that we might not see Michigan's starting linebacker, Nikhai Hill-Green, at all this season. How about Trente Jones? High ankle sprain was at least how it was deemed. I look back at all the players that Michigan has deemed high ankle sprain over the last 3-4 seasons under Jim Harbaugh, and pretty much anytime someone gets the high ankle sprain designation, they miss at least 3 games, if not sometimes 5 or 6. So I would expect Trente Jones to be out potentially 3 or 4 more weeks. Gets a little break here for the bye week, but maybe he comes back for Illinois, maybe Ohio State, or after that. But I do think Michigan's offensive line is in a good spot without him. Carson Barnhart, filling in that role. But Michigan cannot, afford really any more injuries. They've been dealing with injuries all year long. Every single game this year, they've had an offensive lineman who is injured. All right, we will have a great show for you tomorrow, and we've got content for you coming all weekend long, probably. As long as you guys are good, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/MichiganTV. All right, I will see you on Friday. Till then, go Blue.